At this time, I would like to invite our principal, Renata Gonzalez, to present the principal's remarks.
Honored guests, parents, staff, and graduates. On behalf of the staff and students of Earl Haig, I'd like to extend congratulations and best wishes to you, the graduates of 2014, and to your family and friends. I would also like to express my sincere thank yous to Mark Caruana and Linda McMullen and everyone that helped with the commencement ceremonies this afternoon. They've done a wonderful job as usual, and I thank you very much. I must say that as I look around the theater this afternoon, that you are an attractive looking group. The caps and gowns certainly suit all of you, and I also see faces full of happiness and pride, and you should feel very, very proud today. I know that you will agree with me when I say that you have not done this alone, and as you've heard from Ms. Curtis, that you've had supporters here. Your parents, your teachers, your relatives and friends, all supporters in your success. I'd like to express my sincere thank you and respect and appreciation to your parents. And of course, your teachers who have supported you in the development of who you are today and helped you with the planning and realization of your graduation. Thank you. Graduates of 2014, you are a very special group for me, since most of you arrived 4 years ago at the same time I did. I think that we can say that we arrived to the school not knowing exactly what to expect, and we've come together today. I'm certain feeling that we've had a wonderful 4 years at the best high school in the country. Share this very common beginning, I especially want the message for you today to have meaning. I also want to ensure that I'm not just blathering on, so prior to writing this commencement address, I spent time thinking about what to say to you. I've written 14 commencement addresses, and I believe that it doesn't get any easier. You don't want to come across knowing you know it all, or that you've lived such an interesting life that you could use examples from it to enhance your address, or that I have so much life advice, words of wisdom, lessons learned, ideas on how to be successful, and insights on how to be happy, that I would be able to relay those messages to you. I'm not going to pretend I know all. So what can I say that will have meaning to you today? As I wrote the address, I made the decision that it would be a very simple address, and that I would choose to speak about everyday life and the inspiration that we can draw from it. Finding inspiration and reinforcement about how we choose to live our lives is all around us, and in the daily situations and circumstances that we encounter. Odd as it may seem, the inspiration for my message for you today came from a piece of clothing. Yes, you heard me correctly, a piece of clothing. I was out watching my daughter play soccer one night this spring. As you can already surmise, the address today does include a soccer setting, which is extremely appropriate given that we are in the middle of one of the best World Cup tournaments we have ever seen. Even though Italy has been knocked out, I'm still cheering for some of the teams. But I digress, and should get back to the topic. As I was saying, I was at my daughter's soccer game, and I noticed that the team had just purchased new jerseys. She plays for Ajax United. The new jerseys were red and white in color and had a crest on the top left-hand corner. Underneath the crest was some writing. I couldn't see the writing clearly from where I was sitting, but as the game started and the players rushed by the sidelines or stood to take a throw-in, I saw flashes of words on the jerseys, and I thought I saw the words, "Beat Ajax." I said to myself, why would anybody put in big, bold letters, "Beat Ajax"? This is a very unusual piece of writing. Is the goal not for a team to compete and put forth the best effort and try to demonstrate superior athleticism over other teams. I thought that's what they should be doing. Having the words beat Ajax didn't make sense. As the game continued and the players ran by it, I kept trying to get a closer look. I was able to get another look when one of the players came to the sidelines for a throw-in. This glance allowed me to see the words, "can beat Ajax." Again, I said to myself, this is not something I want on a sports jersey. At that point, my brain started working overtime, trying to sort out this very peculiar information that was coming in and attempting to try and find an explanation that made sense. I know that some of you may have experienced this state of mind, especially when things don't make sense, and this time was no different. So in an attempt to sort out the meaning of the words I saw on the jersey, my brain came up with a number of scenarios and possible explanations. Perhaps the words "can beat Ajax" were just a strategic psychological move to psych the other team out, or have them focus on this very unusual, rather self-defeating words on the jersey instead of the game or the play. Or perhaps, very simply, it was just a mistake that no one had caught. The game came to an end, and the team made their way to the sidelines. As the athletes approached, I was able to get a good look at the jersey and the string of black words that were just under the crest. In clear black letters, the crest on the jersey read, "No one can beat Ajax, but Ajax." Interesting. I repeated it again in my head. No one can beat Ajax, but Ajax. As I drove home, I kept thinking about these words and the meaning behind them. My brain started making some connections. And yes, I can tell you that as surprising as this may sound, you will remember what you've learned in high school. And if not entirely, at least the bits of what is remembered will help you make the connections in your brain that build and extend on what you already know. So armed with some knowledge stored in my brain from years ago, I was able to recall reading the Iliad in high school and remembered that Ajax was one of the mythical Greek heroes in this story. He was a warrior who fought against Troy. Very briefly, from what I remember, in the story of the Iliad, there were two rival groups, the Trojans and the Greeks. Ajax is Greek, and so is the famous Achilles. When Achilles dies, there's a competition that's held to determine who'll get his armor. After several days of competition, Odysseus and Ajax are tied for the ownership of the magical armor. It is then that a further competition is held to determine who deserves the armor. Ajax argues that because of his strength and his fighting he's done for the Greeks, including saving the ships from Hector and driving him off, he deserves the armor. However, Odysseus proves to be more eloquent, and the council gives him the armor. When Ajax doesn't win the competition, he's so upset with the loss that he falls upon his own sword. The character of Ajax makes a decision that if he cannot have the armor, then he will not carry on, and ultimately is defeated by himself. Hence the connection is made. No one can beat Ajax, but Ajax. By now, some of you are thinking that this address is sounding more and more like an English class, ENG4, all over again. And some of your English teachers sitting in the audience, our ACL Mr. Webster, our CL Mr. Webster, is probably not too upset that I'm including an analysis of the Iliad or a character analysis of Ajax. I'm sure you're nodding in perfect agreement here. I will, however, stop here and say that the inspirational message here, I hope, is fairly obvious. In simple terms, no one can have a greater impact on your success but you, no matter what you face or the goals that you set for yourself. No one can determine them better than you. It is you and you alone that can either make or break any situation. And even when the goals are not reached, it is once again you and you alone that determines and has the most influence on the outcome. So give yourself some good competition and don't expect anything less. Graduates, As I come to the end of this address, there is one more thing that I'd like to share with you. The last part of the address comes as a result of the suggestions my daughters have made. I have two daughters, one that is going into grade 12 and the other that's going into her third year of university. I often get their opinions, sometimes even when I don't ask for it. I know parents in the audience will agree that that sometimes does happen. Every year when they see me working on the commencement address, they ask what the message will be to the graduates. When I told them that I would include the theme that only you can defeat yourself and that I would be making references to the Iliad, they basically said that all of you would be asleep before the first minute. They suggested that I incorporate something more contemporary. I must say that at first I shrugged with at their suggestions and said, no, I'm not going to do that. But because it wasn't too hard to do, to find the same message or theme in a more contemporary form, I included a more contemporary message. So, in my attempt to make the message more meaningful to all of you, I will leave you with the same message using some contemporary lyrics. And no, I won't sing it. I'll leave that up to you. But I will say that the lyrics are from Hedley. And it was something like this. Everybody said, boy, don't go any higher. Never push the limit and never play with fire. And I won't say what the real words are here, but it's and my ears here, forget that. I know it's not forget that, but we'll say forget that. It's more appropriate for this venue. And then it goes on to say, I can do anything. 1,000 disbelievers couldn't keep me on the ground. I've invented a momentum that'll never slow me down. I believe it because I feel it and I shout it out loud. I can, so. Graduates of 2014, go higher, push the limit, believe in yourself, because the person that you are competing with and has the most power over you is you. Congratulations, I wish you nothing but the best.